Hi, it's Colette. Welcome to my channel, and this is the weekly tarot card for the week commencing Monday, the 4th of June 2018. And here's the card itself. Isn't it lovely? It says peace on it, and it's got lovely blue sky, balloons going up, little rivers and stuff, and it just looks a very peaceful and good and gorgeous card, and it is. So what does it mean in general for you? First, let me apologise for I've got a new camera set up, and instead of being able to see myself through the camera, I have to look at different camera and a monitor, and it's quite hard to trust that you're in focus or you're being seen or doing it properly, but it will have to happen. So if you just bear with me for the next few weeks, I should get used to it. It's not that I like looking at myself in the monitor, but it's just I'm nervous of doing a whole video and then finding that I have a squee whiff or off to the side or something. Anyway, your weekly tarot card for the 4th of June. What we have is one of the Suit of Swords. Now, it's interesting that last week, I think it was, we had the Ace of Swords, and now we're moved up to the Two of Swords. So we've gone from the One of Swords to the Two of Swords. Now, whereas the Ace was the essence of the suit, getting things done, quite an energetic and even stressful card at times because it gives an edge. This goes completely the other way, and it's about finding our own inner peace and also making compromises in many situations in life where we maybe wouldn't want to at times, but for the greater good or for the benefit of a family or a relationship, it's worthwhile just to find the peace within and the compromise within the relationship. Now, where I live, every August we have a balloon festival, and because we're up in the hill, the balloons come over the cottage, and you know, it's absolutely inspiring. It's absolutely fantastic to see. It's one of my favourite days or weekends of the year. And when I saw the balloons in this card, I've not actually seen them in any other Two of Swords card in any other decks, to be honest. And it made this card seem lighter than some of the other decks. Roderick can sometimes be a wee bit in your face and slightly sharper than some of the original decks, but in this one, he actually takes it softer, and I think that's a nice way to view this card. So in general, in the week ahead, you'll find that you have to search for solutions that may be about negotiation and compromise and communication skills that are used without being sharp, without being aggressive in any way. And you could find that even if you've had a lot of feelings of stress or that you needed to achieve something and push forward or whatever, that this week you're sort of sitting back and saying, like, okay, who do I need to communicate with or compromise with to make things work? How do I need to make my own life be so that I can get a balance right? And it's just one of these cards that forces us to sit and think about compromises, think about how to bring peace into a situation. And because of that, I'm hoping that this might be a very, very good general card for the world, where maybe if we're very lucky, there could be some peace treaties, or there could be some megalomaniacs stepping back from being too forceful about things. There's a lot of madmen in the world at the moment, and I'm just hoping that the Two of Swords allows the global energy to be very much about compromises, truces, and making peace. So that's the bigger picture, but if you could put that into your life with the way that you may be reacting to a toddler and maybe they want to fight, you're going to have to be the one that doesn't fight back. Is very much what can we do to call a wee truce here? And it's the same with relationships, partners, work colleagues, etc. But know that this card has a good thing for more horses. A lot of horses going by this morning. Anyway, it's got a lot of potential for inner peace. We take the ace of the things that we understood needed to happen last week, and we now go to the two where there has to be a kind of inner dialogue with ourselves. And I'm finding this one to be very relevant to me this week, with trying to get a between health and the things that I really want to do or need to be available for in family. So what this should give us is a good inner conversation, where you have to say, well, I've been a wee bit stressed and this has happened and that has happened, and you have to find this space where you say, well, for me to be able to do that, I have to let go of this, and for me to be able to be there for that person, I need to maybe not be there for that person. It proves a way of balancing what we need so that we can have the best outcome. So for your inner progress and your spirituality, this is actually a very, very good card. And don't worry if you're having conversations in your head, if you're continually working with your own voice during the day, should I be doing that? Should I rest now? All these things are relevant to this card. So make compromises with your fierce self and let yourself be driven more by your peaceful self this week. But what does it mean in various areas of life? If we look more specifically at work or career, it's a really good card for any interviews that you need to go to, maybe making a good sort of feeling around you when you go into an interview. It means that interviews might not be as full of combat as you maybe expect, that they could be more just general communication and listening. That's the thing about this card, there's a lot of listening in it, and sometimes, even the need to be quiet at times. So if you've got a job interview or there's a big meeting at work, remember that this is a card of communication, but it's also allows there to be silences that are okay, particularly for the air signs, particularly Gemini. You don't need to fill every silence. There's times where there should be gaps in conversations while people think on what's been said. So remember that this week, particularly Gemini. I'm on the cusp of Gemini, so it's a bit like, sometimes I feel that I just talk, sometimes for the sake of talking, if you know what I mean. But for air signs in particular, know when to talk and know when to zip it this week, and you'll do fine, particularly at work. So a good time at work, a time to make compromises, a time to make balance work within yourself or within your team or ward or organisation. If we look at health, again, it's more about inner balance, about allowing us to have that conversation with ourselves that says, what do I need this week? How often do you ask yourself that? What do I need this week? What do I need to do in this week ahead for my week to be something that is beneficial to me? That's not about being selfish, that's about self-care. And for health this week, there's many of us will have to have that conversation. What needs to be done for my state of mind, particularly because it is a swords card, which is more about mental aspects. And what do we need to do for ourselves to keep healthy? And again, it's about balance. It's not about rushing in and doing anything to extreme or being obsessive. It's about listening to that voice that urges compromise but movement, if you understand what I mean. So for health, let yourself sit for a wee while, quiet, maybe do a wee meditation, and have the inner conversation with yourself. If we look at relationships, again, long-term relationships every so often need to have a truce or a compromise. We also have to be more respectful of one another, and if someone's saying something, what I'm trying to say is don't necessarily look at what they're saying, look at what their body and even their silence is telling you. Someone might be really, really just irritable, but that irritability is their way of showing that something is wrong with them, that they need to talk. And sometimes it can be the other partner that's saying, rather than just reacting to the irritability, it's to say what is causing that, what is underneath that. So for long-term relationships, there needs to be conversation this week, and maybe compromises, and maybe drawing the other person out. For new relationships, it's quite a good card, if you're prepared to compromise. And some people have a tick list of partner, and they won't accept anything less. And with the Two of Swords, there comes this need to say, well, if I get this, and this, I'm happy to accept this about a person. It's about making a few compromises, particularly if someone turns up and they're absolutely perfect for you, but they're just maybe not your type as such. That's the way to think on this. So be open to new relationships, and see where they come from, but be prepared to compromise on demands as such. For money, it's very much the same. It's about talking with your finances, whether that's a financial advisor, whether it's a mortgage person, or whether it's just you sitting down with your bank account in front of you and talking to it like, that direct debit has to go, can't afford that, I could get a better deal on this, why am I not sort of negotiating things. So it's about talking to your finances and getting some answers back. So yeah, I like this wee card, I really do. It's a very pleasant looking card. Again, another beauty of Rorig with his colour use. Absolutely lovely. So if you like the way I read the tarot, my book Tarot Novice to Pro in one book is available in all Amazons and Waterstones and stuff like that, mainly online now because it's been out for 6 years. And I hope you enjoy your week ahead. Give me a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I'll see you next week for next week's weekly tarot card. Many blessings now.